Neverending Chain by Dragon Translator. Chapter 160. Warriors of Their Nest. Spitfire did not speak as she led the human called Snotlout and his bonded dragon, Hookfang, down past the meeting cavern. She had seen Snotlout's face when her father said Hiccup and Astrid would be meeting the hatchling first. She knew the look in his eyes all too well. She had felt similar many times, being the third hatched of an alpha pair. Once again, she marvelled and felt a great deal of guilt that she ever thought humans were monsters and nothing like dragons. Hiccup ordered his nest to get that rock-biter hatchlings. Hiccup ordering his nest to get the rock-biters and spike-throwers away from the waves for no reason other than he did not want them or their hatchlings in danger surprised her. The way he trusted Toothless in that flight for the water twister shocked her. That he never flinched or betrayed any fear when the dragons around him roared, or when the water twister challenged him, intrigued her. His defence of Astrid when that tusked king acted like a hatchling and demanded respect when he did not give it, reminded her of her father defending her mother from a rival windshrieker that thought the grief of her parents felt just after Toothless left, failed to show for the spike-splitting ceremony, meant he could take over and claim her mother as his mate. Following her brother back to his nest, and meeting the rest of the humans that called it home, further proved to her that just as there were good and bad dragons, there were good and bad humans. Snotlout's slight reaction to being told not to join the others, driving home the point that humans felt the same thing dragons did. I really should have stayed with Hiccup. He gets into a lot of trouble, and I have to get him out of it. All the time, really. Where are we going? Spitfire snorted, but turned down a sloping corridor. Snotlout and Hookfang followed her, even with Snotlout's protest. I am the third hatched, Spitfire said instead of answering the human. My older brother will inherit the nest when our father journeys to the ancestors, or steps down as Nest Alpha. My second brother was supposed to be Nest Protector, and hold the role of command should my brother and his mate be unable to lead. I was always raised to know this. Snotlout gave a short bark of laughter. Not sure what that has to do with me, he said. I'll probably be Hiccup's greatest general when he takes over as chief back home. Spitfire heard Hookfang give a non-verbal grunt. She bit back her chuckles and turned left into a cross corridor. Her ears caught the sound of the training. Good. They were there. This would make things easier. I see, Spitfire said instead. Still, when I was younger, I was not sure what I was meant to do, where I was meant to be. I grew jealous of my brothers. They had their flights planned. They did not have to worry. They did not have to figure out their future. Did your brothers or your parents know how you felt? Spitfire would have grinned if she did not know that in doing so, it would cause Snotlout to retreat behind his wings and hide from the truth. My mother figured it out first. What did she do? Spitfire waited until they entered the cavern deep within the lower portions of the nest. Several of the nest trained under the watchful eyes of the warrior guards, shouting commands or encouragement, or reprimanding a cocky youngling who thought he could skip over a step in the task he was given. She brought me here. This is where warriors and guards train to defend the nest, but also to be ready should father ever need to have a strike force to follow away from a travel nest. Spitfire turned to Snotlout. You are no less important to your nest just because Hiccup holds the title of Alpha. You are no less needed than he just because he has the abilities he has. Spitfire tossed her head towards one of the warrior guards, who noticed their presence and moved over to greet them. Here, you and Hookfang can learn things Hiccup will not know. Things Hiccup does need to know in order to run his nest. But that you both will need to know in order to defend the nest and be the force your alpha needs should your allies call for aid. Princess, the warrior guard said, bowing with his black wings spread. Who are your companions? Warriors of their nest, Snotlout and Hookfang, honoured guide. They would like to learn our ways of defence and attack, so they have more to pull from if the Alpha, my new brother, has need of them. The warrior guide stood, his blue eyes roaming over Snotlout and Hookfang. He tipped his head, but did not spread his wings. Spitfire did the same as Spitfire did smile as Snotlout and Hookfang stood straighter. The warrior guide grunted, and she knew he was impressed by them. "Come," he said. "I shall be your guide until my new prince calls for his warriors. Princess, are you staying to train with us?" "Sadly, no. Sadly, no. My father wants me to help show the new princes around. The heir prince is unable, as he and his mate first hatchling has greeted the world." Spitfire stood proud. Spitfire was proud that Snotlout did not flinch when the warrior guide roared, causing everyone in the cavern to stop. Once those in the cavern understood, they also began roaring. Spitfire knew the knowledge that another member of the royal flock had arrived, would travel the corridors of the nest before she returned to her father. Dragons did not keep many secrets from their nestmates. At least, none as big as a new hatchling. Spitfire tipped her head and turned her head back up the upper portions to the nest. Snotlout's hand upon her wing stopped her. "Thank you," he said. You won't tell Hiccup, will you? It would only distract him. I've got to keep my cousin focused all the time." Spitfire smiled at him, this time retracting her teeth like her brother did. "No, Snotlout. I will hold all of this in trust, and let you tell him should you ever be ready." With that, she left the human and his bonded dragon, and headed back to her flock. Even the new brother a moon cycle ago she could never have envisioned she would love as much as her blood brothers. End of this little chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry if there are occasional stumbles. Something's happened with my FanFiction.net app, and it doesn't seem to scroll as well as it used to. Oh well, at least I still managed it. Anyway, I like this. Spitfire seeing herself in Snotlout, and helping giving him the validation and the reassurance that he needs. Snotlout is very insecure, I find. And I like that she recognises that and helps him find a way to handle that in a way that is practical, but also reassuring. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals, and albino pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.